Hey there, and a huge, sparkly welcome back to Digital Sleepover.
It's great to be back.
We are just so happy you're tuning in for another deep dive with us. This is number 24.
24, wow. That's quite a collection.
It really is like a mini library of deep dives waiting for you.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you need something interesting for, your commute or while you're doing chores,
hmm
go browse the back catalog. You might find your next obsession.
Definitely. We've covered some really interesting ground, haven't we? Each one's designed to give you that, like, aha moment.
Yeah, without the brain ache. So speaking of things that might need an aha moment, today we're digging into something that, well, it touches pretty much everyone.
Mm.
That little flutter, maybe sometimes a big, scary monster when you think about money.
Ah, yes. Financial anxiety.
Exactly. We're tackling financial anxiety and, crucially, how to maybe get a handle on it with budgeting. Now, look, we're not going to guilt trip you.
No.
But if anything we chat about today sparks even a tiny light bulb, would you, pretty please, I'm basically begging here,
Ah.
share it. A
Mm.
friend, your sibling, that stressed-looking person in the office. Think of it like, planting a tiny seed of financial calm. Go on.
It's a good cause. Because let's be honest, the whole economic climate right now isn't exactly, well, relaxing for our bank accounts, is it?
Not really, no. The way things shift, the cost of living seeming to creep up.
And job security worries for some people, too. It all adds up to that pressure. It's totally understandable to feel it.
Completely. So our mission today, and you're here now, so you're stuck with us.
Uh-huh. Correct.
Our mission is to unpack this. We'll share some, real stories, maybe some wobbles,
Uh-huh. Been there.
dive into some really practical step-by-step ways to budget that don't feel like punishment.
Right. It shouldn't feel like that.
And sprinkle in some research that shows, hey, you are not alone in this. The goal, dial down the anxiety, feel a bit more like you're steering the ship.
Sounds like a plan. So let's kick things off. What exactly is financial anxiety? Fundamentally, it's that stress, that worry that comes from those things we just mentioned, right?
Yeah, the uncertain economy, rising costs, maybe job insecurity.
Exactly. Those are the big triggers.
And it's not just some vague feeling, is it? The stuff we looked at shows it's really, really common right now.
Oh, very prevalent. You see inflation hitting purchasing power. The markets feel, well, volatile.
Like a roller coaster sometimes.
Yeah, and just the constant economic news. It's a lot to take in. It can definitely make anyone feel a bit shaky.
Totally. And the data backs this up.
Right?
Like people searching online.
Huge surge. We saw that. Searches for financial anxiety, budgeting inflation, money tips. People are actively looking for help.
Which tells you a lot about the collective mood, doesn't it?
It really does. And it's not just Google Trends. You see articles popping up everywhere. Forbes, The Atlantic, Harvard Business Review, they're all talking about this increase in financial stress.
So it's a well-documented thing. If you're feeling that sort of tightness in your chest about money,
You're definitely not imagining it.
you are in very, very good company.
That's so important to remember. And it's critical to get that this isn't just numbers, this stress. It hits hard psychologically.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, we're talking higher anxiety levels generally, spilling into other parts of life. Trouble sleeping is a big one, mind racing about bills.
Ugh, been there, staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m.
Exactly. And just a general dip in your mental well-being. It takes a toll.
It's like this background hum of worry just constantly draining you, which is where budgeting, maybe surprisingly, comes in as a potential antidote.
Precisely. It might sound restrictive, like putting yourself in financial handcuffs.
Yeah, that's the reputation it has sometimes.
The research actually points the other way. Having a clear plan, a structure, it actually reduces that feeling of uncertainty.
Because you're taking control, instead of feeling like you're just being pushed around by external forces.
Exactly that. It builds confidence. You feel more empowered, and that directly helps your mental health.
It's like getting a map when you're lost, isn't it? The unknown feels less scary.
Uh-huh. And we've seen studies, places like Psychology Today, research from the National Endowment for Financial Education, they actually link effective budgeting to lower anxiety.
So it's not just about the dollars and cents, it's about the peace of mind.
A huge part of it. And finance experts, they recommend structured budgeting for exactly this reason. It gives you that feeling of control back. It shifts you from being reactive to proactive.
Okay, I'm sold. Financial anxiety, bad. Budgeting, potential good. But let's get practical. How do we actually do it? What's step one?
Step one, and it sounds basic, but it's vital. Assess your situation. You need an honest look at what's coming in and what's going out.
Tracking everything. Income, expenses, the lot.
The lot. Every coffee, every bill, every paycheck.
That sounds daunting. Do I need a massive spreadsheet?
You could, but thankfully, technology helps. There are apps like Mint or YNA. You need a budget. Ah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, they can connect to your accounts, categorize spending automatically. It gives you that clear picture without you having to manually track every single penny.
Okay, that sounds more manageable. So the app helps you see where the money is actually going.
Exactly. It helps you identify recurring costs,
Yeah.
rent, utilities, those subscriptions.
The sneaky subscription.
Right, and the variable stuff too, like groceries or eating out.
Yeah.
Once you see it all laid out, then you can spot areas to maybe adjust, find savings.
Got it. So it's assess first. Then what? Step 2.
Step 2 is actually creating the budget,
Yeah.
taking that data and making a plan.
Right. How do you structure that?
A common way is breaking it down. You've got your absolute needs,
Eh.
housing, essential food, transport for work, healthcare.
The must-have.
Then savings goals, retirement, a down payment, that emergency fund we'll get to.
Important stuff.
And finally, discretionary spending. The wants. Entertainment, hobbies, dining out, the fun stuff.
And the key is setting limits for those categories based on your income and goals. Precisely. It's not about cutting everything fun out. It's about being intentional. Making conscious choices so your spending aligns with what matters to you long term.
Okay, intentional choices. I like that. Which leads nicely into step 3, right? Finding ways to cut costs.
Yep. Implementing cost-cutting measures. Now that you have the budget framework, you look for specific ways to trim spending.
This is the detective work part, hunting down those unnecessary expenses.
Kind of, like review all your subscriptions, seriously. That streaming service you used 6 months ago.
Guilty. Cancel it.
Cancel it. Those small monthly fees add up surprisingly fast. Or maybe consolidate similar services.
Good point. And what about, like, shopping?
Look for discounts. Use coupons, browser extensions that find deals automatically. Every little bit helps.
And everyday stuff, like food.
Huge potential there. Meal planning is a big one. Make a list. Stick to it at the store. Avoids impulse buys.
And maybe batch cooking. Cook a big load on Sunday for the week ahead. Less temptation for expensive takeout.
Smart. All good, practical ideas. Which brings us to a really crucial one. Step 4, building that emergency fund.
Ah, the financial safety net. This is huge for anxiety, isn't it?
Absolutely massive. Knowing you have a cushion for the unexpected job loss, medical bill, car repair,
Yeah.
it lifts such a weight.
Takes the panic out of those curveballs.
Exactly. The key is just starting. Even if it's tiny amounts each week or month, just start building it.
What's the usual goal people aim for?
Generally, experts recommend aiming for 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses.
Okay, that sounds like a lot, but starting small is the way.
Absolutely. Start small, be consistent, it grows over time. Every dollar in there reduces that underlying worry. It's like building a foundation brick by brick.
I like that analogy, brick by brick. Okay, so we've assessed, budgeted, cut costs, built a safety net. What's step 5?
Step 5 is more of a mindset shift, practicing mindful spending.
Mindful spending. What does that mean exactly?
It means pausing before you buy. Asking yourself, do I really need this? Does this align with my goals, my values?
So less impulse buying, more conscious decision making.
Precisely. It's about being deliberate, not getting swept up. Prioritizing spending on what genuinely brings you value or happiness long term.
Instead of just stuff accumulating.
Right. It helps you feel more in control, less like money is just vanishing.
Okay, these steps seem really clear. Assess, create, cut, cushion, and be conscious. And you mentioned tools like Mint and YNA. Any other resources?
Oh, loads. Financial planning websites, podcasts like NPR's Personal Finance series, great stuff there. Loads of info and different perspectives.
And books for people who want to go deeper.
Definitely. Books like Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin really makes you think about your relationship with money. Or Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover is very practical, step by step.
Good recommendations. And articles too, right? We mentioned Forbes, HBR, The Atlantic. They often have good pieces on financial wellness.
Yeah, plenty of good reading out there.
So we've covered the theory, the steps. But it's important to remember this isn't always like a smooth ride, is it?
Oh, heavens no. It's real life.
Yeah. I can definitely remember times staring at a pile of bills, just feeling sheer panic, like completely overwhelmed.
I think we've all been there.
And honestly, even just making a super basic budget in those moments, it felt like grabbing a lifeline. Didn't solve everything overnight, but it gave me direction. some sense of control when things felt out of control.
But that feeling of being overwhelmed is so common. And sometimes the little mistakes teach you things too, right?
Uh-huh. Like what?
Well, I remember once trying so hard to cut costs. I bought this super cheap laundry detergent,
Wow.
and everything smelled faintly of, like, damp dog for weeks.
Oh, no. It's funny.
It was funny later, but it was a good reminder. Budgeting is about balance, sustainability, not just being the absolute cheapest about everything. It has to work for your actual life.
Okay, note to self. Avoid wet dog detergent. That's a brilliant, relatable point, though. And you know what? I bet our listeners have stories like that or little tricks they've found.
I'm sure they do.
So here's that reminder, our mid-deep dive CTA. If you've got a budgeting win, a trick, something quirky that helped ease your money stress, please share it. Use the hashtag Digital Sleepover Budget Win.
Yeah, let's hear them. Sharing those small wins can be really motivating for everyone. You learn from each other.
Totally. Let's build that little community of budget wins.
Yeah.
Okay, well, wow, that feels like we've covered a lot of ground.
We really have. From the anxiety itself to the practical steps.
So that kind of brings us towards the end of this deep dive on managing financial anxiety with budgeting. Thank you, truly, for spending your time with us on Digital Sleepover, episode 24.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate you tuning in.
And hey, if you found this helpful, maybe consider subscribing and check out those other 23 deep dives we mentioned.
There's bound to be something else you'll find interesting.
And as we wrap up, here's a final thought. These uncertain times, they can feel stressful. But what if we reframed budgeting?
How so?
Instead of seeing it as restrictive, see it as empowering, a tool for control. Mindful spending not as deprivation, but as intention.
Turning it from a burden into a tool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's try to build that financial resilience together one step at a time. Maybe, just maybe, we can turn some of this uncertainty into an opportunity to build a more secure, more intentional financial future.
A positive way to look at it. Build that resilience.
Let's do it. Thanks again for listening, everyone.